and see what happens. I think it's going now. So, all right. So you and I are here. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, we're here with Mike Stickel, who started 30 years ago at Rutgers University, was originally the head of the Spirit program, and then took a slight hiatus and then came back. And Mike, I know you're retiring. This is your last year. It's not quite how anybody planned to go. That's why we're doing an at-home interview. Mike and I talked about some of the difficulties of setting that kind of stuff up, but congratulations. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. 30 years ago, January 7th, 1990 is when I first walked into the rack. And never thought that this is the way it would end.
Well, I'd like to just jump in and say, hopefully it's not going to end this way. As we say in New Jersey, I know a guy.
Yeah.
So maybe when football comes back, who knows? I would certainly request that some sort of mention be made. And it might be nicer for you in that respect, in that, basketball was all set to go and you would have been working your butt off, right? And doing it. And then it would have been this crazy celebration because Rutgers would have won the men's basketball tournament. Your retirement might have got overshadowed. So.
I would have taken being overshadowed for that. What's really funny is that 29 years ago, when the men went to the NCAAs, I had said to the other coach there, "Why don't you go? Because I'll go to the next one." And so, weirdly, I was kind of set to go to the next one, and that didn't happen. So the next time I go, it'll be as a spectator, I guess.
Well, that has its advantages too, sometimes. But anyway, I wanted to share about some of the stuff of your experiences over 30 years with people. And what I'm going to do when I run this is take some of the little clips from here and take some of the still photos I have from the Rutgers, from your teams from over the years. And I was fortunate. Both of my children were NCAA student athletes. And so some of the things, about student athletes and students in general. So I was going to say, well, actually, what kind of big major changes have you noticed over a student population at a college since 1990 to now, like in diversity, inclusion, acceptance, anything at all?
Just the general population.
Yeah, or the students in general. I don't know if you may be more in tune to what's going on at a college level as opposed to society in general because you spend so much time there.
Well, I think I have to sort of bring my own experience down to even more of a subset, which is student athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And since 1990, I think there is more inclusion. There's more acceptance of across the board. Sexual orientation, race, gender issues. I think it's much more accepted, especially at a school like Rutgers. Rutgers is it's a very, very diverse school. It could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that we're the only major public institution where the white population is in the minority. And I believe we're also the largest institution for transgender students. So it's there's a lot of pride to be made in that. I'm apologizing for my dogs.
No.
She's a puppy, so she just constantly plays, and it doesn't matter. They were in the living room, and as soon as it's like something in Zoom has some whistle that says "come and play." Okay, sorry about that.
Nowadays they could have built that into the software. There could be a dog whistle in the background that we don't hear. That's kind of if not, that's a heck of a marketing idea. I kind of like.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I think it's the student population has become a lot more accepting. At least at Rutgers, have learned that, you know, living in New York City and working at a school like Rutgers, I tend to live in a little bit of a bubble. It is nice to travel with the Big Ten because I go to a lot of places. Since we're in the Big Ten, I go to a lot of places that I probably would not have gone. Lincoln, Nebraska, and West Lafayette, Indiana. Places where business has not taken me, or I have no family there. But even those areas tend to be pockets of liberalism, if you will. So I
you
I
mean
tend
you
to think that
mean the campus in Nebraska may not be reflective of the general population? Is that what you're?
I I would tend to lean that way.
Okay, okay. I would be encouraged. I would be inclined to agree.
Yeah. So and
This is why in the beginning why I preferenced about college students, because you work with them in general and you're closer with them. For example, my wife is a high school teacher, and she is kind of in tune to what, sometimes she comes home and knows a word that I don't know. So then she comes home and she asks me or she asks the kids, but so this is why I was saying. So back to the bubble and the thing. So um, very interesting about seeing all the different places in the Big Ten, by the way.
yeah, that's actually one of my favorite parts about being in the Big Ten. Well, there are many parts that I'm happy about being in the Big Ten. I like being part of a major conference. I like that the schools that are part of the Big Ten are not only very, very strong athletic schools, but they're also very strong academic schools. And there's a reason why Rutgers was asked to join that. So I very much appreciate that. Um, yeah, I mean, I like to think that the college population has grown and the student athlete population has grown as time has changed.
Mhm.
We'll see. Hopefully, that continues to grow in a very positive, accepting direction. Yeah, I think
That
that's.
that I think that kind of sums it up, and I really I think that's good to hear. In just my personal opinion, there are some other questions I have here. Let's see, and I wanted to kind of just on the not on the question sheet, but so you live in Manhattan. I worked in Times Square, as you know, for many years, and I live in New Jersey. So you were doing a reverse commute, but since Rutgers joined the Big Ten, I don't know if it's just me, but I noticed, especially on football and even around basketball tournaments. One of the great things I love is that I see all the other jackets in Times Square in New York City. And personally, when I see them, I always walk up and, if it's a Penn State fan, for example, and this is the kind of the extreme for Rutgers fans, I will actually walk up and go, "We are," which is their stadium chant. And they'll yell it back. And then I'll tell them, "Hey, I'm from Rutgers, but welcome to New York." But I don't know. Do you notice that there's more of a presence in New York City now that on game days and such, or is that just me?
Um, I've noticed it quite a bit. And I think a lot of the Big Ten, especially in the first few years with the Big Ten, I know that a lot of them came and used New York as a hub because when they came to play, the school I'll use are actually both Iowa and Nebraska. The very first year when they were here, they had their alumni functions in Manhattan because you're that close, and why not bring a lot of your alum to New
Sure.
York to celebrate and to enjoy the city. But I have noticed, I would say there's a part of me that thinks, oh, well, maybe I notice the logos and and the hats and everything more because we're playing these schools, but it's not like I noticed a lot of Big East and the American Conference, the All American
No,
Conference.
no, okay.
It's not like I noticed a lot of those logos before. I do notice a lot of them now, and taking the train to games, I have noticed a lot of people on the trains with those with the clothing on.
I would imagine one of the things that I seen, and I've actually, I'm the kind of person that has a conversation with strangers on the street. So, um, I have asked people, hey, I see your thing. Like I've seen them around football season, and they're going to actually go out to, on the banks to Piscataway, SHI Stadium. I hope I got that right. To see the game, but I see them walking around New York, and they say, "Oh yeah, no, we stay in Manhattan, but we take public transit or we get out there one way or the other." So I think that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to cut back to some other questions about what are your three most memorable moments at Rutgers and cheer?
That was probably one of the toughest questions that I saw there because I don't want the.
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. Let me see. Is that me? No. I'm losing you a little bit there. Well, our new technology, Mike has frozen. He's there, but he's frozen. What can I do to fix this? Oh, there, you're unfrozen now, I think.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I've actually, hang on. I don't know what's going on here. I'm losing you again, Mike. This isn't good. Make sure I'm on the right one. Hold on one second. See if I can fix that.
Do you want me again?
Yes. Could you give me like 1 minute and join again? I'll come right back. Let me see how this works. I want to see if I can get my recording too while I'm here. Yeah, tell you what, drop off and come back in a minute.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Thanks.